Good evening, good evening. This is your boy Kofi-Thomas. Please hit the like as well as the subscribe button to show that you have love in regards to the service that I'm providing. One of the things I want to talk to you about, which is very important, is in regards to the subject of parenting. Parenting. Let's talk about that for a moment, okay? It's a devastating subject because, to be honest, I've never seen perfection anywhere, but I've seen a lot of mistakes in my time, okay? The reason I'm able to speak on this, there's some things that I noticed that have taken place that it just astounds me concerning the focus in which people have today. Two people meet, they fall in love, and then the next thing you know, it's time to say goodbye. Now the question is, and I believe, just as you meet a person, you should also say goodbye to a person. But the sad thing is that when love takes place, everything goes wild and crazy. Sometimes there's bitterness. Now what happens from that is that sometimes an apple comes from the tree, whether it's a boy or a girl, and then in turn we have two people who just coexist. And then to make it even worse, there's a child. Now here's the problem. I think a lot of people out there understand their roles. But I think the problem is also being able to put aside so much your emotional feelings to allow the respect of the partnership and union that you created to foster that child to continue to be a positive force in that child. And what I mean by that is that sometimes, whether it's so much that man has to say goodbye to that woman or that woman say goodbye to that man, the other parent, one or the other, sits back and decides, oh, just because you weren't good to me as a man or a woman, guess what? You ain't good as a parent, which is not true. Because that man may not have been a good man to you does not mean that he was not a good and had a great obligation toward fathering his child. And I see this many a time because there's a lot of men out there who have told me that, man, if me and her ain't together, she ain't gonna let me be in the life of my son or my daughter. And I'd be honest with you, this is gonna hurt. A lot of people are gonna disagree. No woman has the right to come between the relationship between that child and that father. Just like that father has no right to come between that relationship of the mother and the child. But we see it all the time. We've seen manipulation. We've even seen so much, you know what, let me see what I can do to break him down. Whether so much financially, okay? Let me do things that I know is gonna hurt him. You know, and the worst of them all that I have seen a lot of, and we see it in public, is you just like your daddy comments. We see it a lot. Here's something I found out. For those that are going through goodbyes and they have children, let me tell you the best way to do it. For a woman, it's best that if you are entitled or blessed to have the children to raise in your home, or that man, whoever that partner is that you endorse, validate the other partner in regards to their efforts to be a parent. Now what do I mean by that? Whether or not that's a good parent or a bad parent is not so much you as a man or you, more importantly, as a woman to say. It's the child that makes the judgment. So if that man is trying to raise a child and he's constantly trying to do things in the right direction regards to his child, well, guess what? Validate him. Don't sit back and talk about that child's father, because guess what? That's that child's father. A part of who that child is the genes and so forth comes from that man. Or better yet, never talk about that woman in regards to the presence of a child. And I gotta be honest with you, as a man, I never really spent time to talk about my kid's mother in regards to her presence. If they asked me or say anything, I always would sit back, because kids would always hear things. And they say, Dad, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about Mama? I tell them the truth. I say, you know what, I thank you. I love your mom because she gave me you. That's powerful. Because the truth is, whether or not you made it in regards to that relationship and that union together, it's powerful because that woman blessed you with that child, which brings so much joy, which is a part of your life. Or more importantly, that man. Let's try it, women. Say it with me. I love your dad because he gave me you. Period. You don't have to add to it. It's not about if he's that man or he's this person and so forth. It's about so much the relationship between that child and their parent. Again, as that man is working with the young men today, and I gotta tell you ladies, I know it's rough, but when that child is a 12-year-old male child, that male needs to be around his father. But not only that, it's even more important that you validate as the father's making efforts to mold him, to provide the knowledge, the wisdom toward him becoming a man. You need to validate, say you need to listen to your father. You need to follow your father, okay? Because when you sit back and talk about and tell him to go the opposite way, let me explain, you divide that child. Now remember in the Bible it says a house divided shall fall, okay? And that is so true. So today, the key is simple. With that man, please, allow the man to be a father, but more importantly, validate him in that position. And with that woman, allow her to be the mother and validate her in that position. This is your boy Kofi-Thomas. Stay tuned. More to come. Thank you.